The story begins in the dim, fluorescent glow of a near-empty hospital, where the hum of machinery and the occasional echo of footsteps down sterile hallways set an unsettling tone. Dr. Sarah Carter, exhausted but dedicated, is finishing her late-night rounds when the emergency doors slide open with a mechanical hiss. A disheveled man stumbles in, supported by an orderly. His name, according to the intake form, is Daniel Reese. Daniel is pale, his eyes darting nervously as if expecting an unseen threat. He speaks in fragmented sentences, insisting that someone, or something, has been following him for days. His words are dismissed as paranoia by the night staff, but Sarah, a perceptive doctor with a history of trusting her instincts, notices something unusual. His pupils are dilated beyond what normal fear would cause, and his pulse is erratic, as if his body is reacting to something beyond adrenaline. Then there's the wristband. It isn't a standard hospital ID. Instead, it bears a strange, almost arcane symbol, a looping design that looks both medical and ritualistic. When Sarah questions him about it, Daniel's breathing quickens, and he clutches his wrist protectively. "They gave it to me," he whispers. "It's how they find you." Before she can press further, he's rushed to a room for observation. The last shot of the scene lingers on the hallway outside his door, the flickering light casting long shadows, the faint sound of his muffled voice still pleading with someone unseen. The camera pulls back, leaving the audience with a creeping sense that whatever brought Daniel here isn't finished with him yet. The hospital at night is inherently eerie, playing on the fear of being alone in a place meant to heal, but that now feels like a trap. Daniel's erratic behavior and the wristband immediately raise questions. Is he delusional, or is there truth to his fear? His warning, "It's how they find you," hints at a larger conspiracy, setting up the vanishings to come. Sarah's attention to detail marks her as the protagonist who will dig deeper, unlike the dismissive staff. This opening doesn't just introduce the plot. It immerses the audience in a world where nothing is as it seems, where the first cracks in reality are already forming. The hospital hums with its usual late-night rhythm, monitors beeping, distant pages over the intercom, the occasional murmur of nurses at their stations. Dr. Sarah Carter, still unsettled by her encounter with Daniel Reese, decides to check on him again before her shift ends. There's something about him, his desperation, the cryptic symbol on his wrist, that lingers in her mind like an unanswered question. She knocks lightly on his door, half expecting him to be awake, still trembling with that same haunted look. But when there's no answer, she pushes the door open, the hinges creaking softly. The room is empty. Not just empty, wrong. The bed is disheveled, the sheets twisted as if someone had thrashed in them before vanishing. The fourth line dangles loose, the needle still clean, no sign of struggle or forced removal. The window is locked from the inside. The door was secured. She had to use her key card to enter. A cold prickle runs down her spine. She checks the bathroom. Nothing. Calls his name. Silence. Then she notices it. A faint, metallic scent in the air. Something chemical, like antiseptic, but sharper. It clings to the back of her throat, unnatural. Frantic, she pulls up the security feed at the nurse's station. The grainy black and white footage shows Daniel's door. No one enters. No one leaves. Yet somehow, between one frame and the next, he's gone. The orderly on duty shrugs. Maybe he walked out when we weren't looking. But Sarah knows better. People don't just disappear from locked rooms. Then, as she turns to leave, she catches a glimpse of something on the floor, a single scrap of paper, crumpled near the bed. Unfolding it, she finds a hastily scribbled note in shaky handwriting. "They take you when the lights go out." And in that moment, she realizes Daniel wasn't just a patient. He was a warning. The mundane hospital setting makes the impossibility of his disappearance even creepier. No dramatic music, no jump scares, just silence and absence. Locked room mysteries play on our fear of the unexplainable. If a man can disappear without a trace, what else is possible? The note and the chemical smell are breadcrumbs, hinting at something far more sinister than a simple missing person case. Her refusal to accept the easy explanation marks her as the protagonist who will dig deeper, even when others dismiss the truth. This isn't just a disappearance. It's the first crack in reality, the moment Sarah realizes that the hospital holds secrets far darker than she ever imagined. The hospital's fluorescent lights buzz like distant insects as Sarah Carter sits hunched over a computer in the records room, the glow of the screen casting sharp shadows across her tired face. Sleep is the last thing on her mind. Daniel Reese's disappearance gnaws at her, not just because it defies logic, but because the hospital staff seems determined to sweep it under the rug. She types his name into the system. No record found. A chill prickles her skin. She saw him. She admitted him. How can there be no trace? Then she remembers the wristband, that strange symbol, looping like a serpent eating its own tail. She sketches it from memory and runs it through the database. Again, nothing. But as she flips through old case files, something catches her eye. A faded intake form from 2 years ago, misfiled under psychiatric holds. The patient, a woman named Lena Voss, had been admitted for night terrors. And there, in the corner of the page, the same symbol. Sarah's pulse quickens. She digs deeper, cross-referencing missing persons reports with hospital records. One name leads to another. Marcus Rhine, Elena Suarez, Jerome Briggs, all admitted with similar symptoms: paranoia, disorientation, claims of being followed. All discharged without proper paperwork, all vanished without a trace, and every file bears that same damn symbol. A noise behind her makes her jump. The door creaks open, and Nurse Ruiz steps in, her expression unreadable. "You shouldn't be in here after hours, Doctor." Sarah slams the file shut, but not fast enough. Ruiz's gaze lingers on the papers a beat too long before she adds, "Some things are better left alone." The warning hangs in the air long after Ruiz leaves. Sarah exhales, her breath shaky. She's onto something big, and now she's certain of one thing: she's not the only one looking. Sarah's search through records feels like peeling back layers of a dark conspiracy, each clue more unsettling than the last. The recurring wristband symbol ties the vanishings together, transforming random disappearances into something deliberate and sinister. Nurse Ruiz's veiled warning confirms Sarah's fears. She's not just chasing ghosts. Someone wants these secrets to stay buried. The scene plays on the fear of being watched, of realizing too late that digging for the truth might make you the next target. This is where the mystery deepens, where Sarah steps from the role of doctor into detective, and where the hospital's sterile facade cracks wide open, revealing the rot beneath. The weight of what she's uncovered presses down on Sarah like a physical force. The hospital's empty archives, illuminated only by the flickering glow of her laptop, feel suddenly claustrophobic. She's been piecing together fragments all night. Names, dates, that damned symbol. And now, as she stares at the screen, the truth finally takes shape. A search for next-gen labs pulls up a string of articles. A cutting-edge biotech firm, once lauded for breakthroughs in cognitive therapy, quietly shuttered after an investigation into unethical trials. The details are vague, buried under layers of legal jargon, but one phrase jumps out: experimental memory suppression. Then, buried in an old news archive, she finds it, a single grainy photograph of a research team. And there, standing among them, is a face she recognizes. Dr. Kettering, the hospital's chief administrator. Her breath catches. A sudden noise, a soft click from the hallway, snaps her attention away. The door. She hadn't locked it. Sarah quickly shuts the laptop, but it's too late. The door swings open, and Daniel Reese steps inside. Except it's not the same man she admitted that night. His eyes are clear now, sharp. There's no trace of the terrified patient from before. Instead, he regards her with an eerie calm, as if he's been expecting this moment. "You weren't supposed to remember," he says. And then, in a rush, it all makes sense. The disappearances, the wristbands, the way no one in the hospital seems to care. Daniel wasn't a victim. He was bait. The moment Sarah connects Dr. Kettering to Next Gen Labs is a visceral punch. The conspiracy isn't just real, it's been hiding in plain sight. His reappearance flips the script entirely. The man she thought was a victim is suddenly something else entirely. And the audience feels that same gut drop Sarah does. The realization that the vanishings aren't accidents but part of a deliberate, systematic hunt reframes everything that's come before. The locked room tension of the archives, the sudden appearance of Daniel, it all underscores that Sarah is no longer just investigating. She's being hunted. This is the point of no return. The conspiracy isn't lurking in the shadows anymore. It's staring her in the face. And now that she knows, there's no walking away. The air in the hospital's abandoned west wing is thick with the scent of antiseptic and something darker, something metallic like old blood. Sarah's footsteps echo too loudly as she moves through the dimly lit corridor, her phone's weak flashlight casting long, trembling shadows. The text message had been clear. She knows it's a risk, but after uncovering the connection between Next Gen Labs and the hospital's missing patients, she has no choice. She needs proof. The elevator doors groan open to reveal a corridor she's never seen before, one that doesn't exist on any hospital blueprint. The walls are lined with outdated medical equipment, dust-covered monitors still flickering with static as if frozen in time. At the far end, a single door stands ajar, a sliver of blue-tinted light spilling out. Inside, she finds Dr. Kettering waiting for her. He isn't alone. 3 figures in white coats stand motionless beside him, their faces obscured by surgical masks. And behind them, strapped to a gurney, is Daniel Reese. His wrists bound, his eyes wide with terror. "You were always too curious, Sarah," Kettering says, almost regretful. "That's why we chose you." Then the pieces snap together, the missing patients, the late-night admissions, the way Daniel seemed to appear out of nowhere that first night. It was never about them. It was about her. The patients were just lures, carefully selected to draw in doctors like Sarah, medical professionals sharp enough to notice the inconsistencies, compassionate enough to chase the truth. And once they got too close, they vanished too. The door locks behind her with a heavy click. Kettering smiles. "Let's see how much you remember in the morning." Just when Sarah thinks she's uncovering the conspiracy, she realizes she's the one being studied. The trap wasn't just for the missing patients, it was for her all along. The reveal that the hospital's chief administrator is not just complicit but leading the experiments adds a layer of institutional horror. His reappearance as a terrified prisoner, not the calm, knowing figure from before, ramps up the confusion. Was he ever really in control or just another pawn? The idea of having your memories, your very self, erased is terrifying. Sarah isn't just fighting for the truth now. She's fighting for her own mind. This is the moment the story pivots from mystery to survival horror. The walls close in, the conspiracy tightens its grip, and Sarah realizes the only way out is through, if she can remember enough to fight back. The chemical sting of sedatives burns in Sarah's veins as she fights to keep her eyes open. The room swims around her, blurred figures in white coats, the gleam of surgical tools, Kettering's voice murmuring instructions just beyond her fading comprehension. But just as the neural inhibitor hums to life, the overhead lights flicker, once, twice, then plunge the room into darkness. It's Marcus Rhine, one of the vanished patients from her files, alive, furious, and very much not erased. He drags her into the maze of sub-level corridors, their breaths ragged as alarms blare behind them. "They missed a few of us," he gasps, shoving open a maintenance hatch. "The ones who fought back." Above them, the hospital is in chaos. Orderlies sprinting through halls, nurses whispering in panicked clusters. Someone has leaked the truth. Sarah stumbles into the emergency stairwell, the exit sign glowing like a beacon. But as she reaches the door, she hesitates. Marcus's face hardens. "We'll find them, but you have to get out now." With a final glance back, Sarah bursts into the cold night air, just as the first police cruisers skid into the hospital driveway. In the days that follow, the scandal makes headlines. The missing patients, the illegal experiments, Kettering's arrest, and tucked beneath the paper, a familiar wristband, its twisted loop gleaming in the light. Marcus's return flips the script. The vanished aren't just victims, they're a resistance. His urgency and knowledge suggest this fight is far from over. The hospital's chaotic collapse mirrors Sarah's own unraveling of the conspiracy, giving visceral satisfaction while leaving room for doubt. Kettering's arrest feels like justice, but the final note and wristband hint at a larger, still hidden network. Her hesitation at the exit shows her growth. She's no longer just a doctor or a detective, but someone willing to risk herself for others. The ending doesn't tie everything up neatly because some horrors don't end. They just wait in the dark for the next person brave enough to turn on the light. The cold metal table pressed against Sarah's back as the restraints bit into her wrists. The blinding surgical light above her revealed Doctor. Kettering's face looming into view, his glasses reflecting the glint of silver instruments. "You should feel honored, Sarah," he murmured, adjusting the neural scanner above her forehead. "Your mind will help perfect what we started with the others." The machine whirred to life with a high-pitched hum. Sarah's vision blurred at the edges as the first waves of cognitive suppression pulsed through her skull. Memories flickered like dying film reels. Daniel's panicked eyes, the symbol on his wrist, the empty hospital beds. A distant crash jolted her back to consciousness. The lights flickered wildly as smoke poured from an overloaded console. Through the haze, Sarah saw a figure in a hospital gown wrestling a guard to the ground. His name surfaced through the mental fog, one of the vanished patients from her files. His movements were sharp, practiced, as he disabled the guard with a precise strike to the throat. "They didn't erase me enough," he growled, freeing Sarah's restraints. His hands were scarred where a wristband had been violently removed. "And they didn't count on us helping each other remember." Gunfire echoed through the hallway as they stumbled into the corridor. The hospital had become a war zone. Orderlies in white coats trading shots with figures in patient gowns. A fire alarm wailed as sprinklers rained down, mixing with blood on the linoleum. Sarah's legs nearly gave out when she saw Daniel among the fighters, his face bloodied but his eyes clear. "The symbol!" he shouted over the chaos, tapping his temple. "It's not just a marker, it's the key to breaking their programming." Kettering's voice boomed from unseen speakers. Containment Protocol Alpha. Initiate neural purge. The surviving patients locked eyes, a silent understanding passing between them. As one, they pressed their fingers to identical scars on their wrists. Sarah followed suit, touching the fresh wound where her own band had been. A shockwave of memories erupted through the facility. Monitors exploded in showers of sparks as every victim of Next Gen's experiments suddenly remembered. In the resulting chaos, Sarah ran, past the collapsing research wing, through the screaming crowds of liberated patients, into the stormy night. Behind her, the hospital burned, but as the first news helicopter circled overhead, a black sedan pulled up beside her. The window rolled down to reveal a woman with hollow eyes and a "Thanks for watching." If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.